So, Google's AI, Gemini, it's everywhere, right? You hear all this buzz about the amazing things it can do, but let's be honest, trying to figure it all out can feel like drinking from a fire hose. Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. I'm going to break down exactly what Gemini can actually do for you, and we'll start with the stuff that's not only incredibly powerful, but also completely free.
Okay, does this feel a little familiar? Your day is just this constant juggle, right? You've got a mountain of emails, these super dense reports you're supposed to summarize, and of course, that dreaded blank page staring back at you when you're supposed to be creative. It's the normal chaos of digital life, and man, is it exhausting?
But what if I told you the tool to slice right through that chaos isn't some new app you have to download or, pay for? What if it's more like a hidden superpower that's already built into the Google account you use every single day? Yeah, let's go ahead and unlock that.
All right, let's dive right into that free toolkit. Seriously, think of this as your starter pack for just leveling up your productivity and creativity. And trust me, it's packed with way more power than you probably expect.
So where do you even start? Well, the journey kicks off pretty simply. Just like any chatbot. You can ask it a question, get some help writing an email, basic stuff. But then, this is where the magic really starts. Instead of slogging through a 20-page PDF, you can literally just upload it and say, hey, give me a one-sentence summary. Or, you see a really complex infographic? Just give it a picture of it and boom, it pulls out all the key data into simple text. And get this, it's not just about consuming information. You can ask it to create something totally new, like a custom thumbnail for your next YouTube video.
Okay, now here's a feature that, it genuinely feels like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's called Audio Overview. Imagine this. You upload a really dense document, and instead of you having to read it, Gemini creates a mini podcast about it. I'm not kidding. It has 2 AI hosts actually discussing the material. It's an absolutely incredible way to review information while you're on the go without reading a single word.
But here's the thing. Gemini is so much more than just a simple question and answer machine. This next part is where it really transforms from like a cool gadget into a seriously powerful research assistant that completely changes how you find and use information.
Think about how we normally do research. You Google something, and what do you get? A wall of links. And then all the heavy lifting, all the clicking, the reading, the synthesizing, that's all on you. Well, Gemini's deep research feature completely flips that on its head. The best way to think about it is like having a personal intern. You can give it a really complex task like plan a 10-day trip to Hawaii, and it won't just spit out a bunch of links. No, it will go read dozens, maybe even hundreds of websites for you, and then come back with a complete, consolidated plan. It's a game changer.
But look, powerful research is pretty useless if you can't actually do anything with it, right? And this is where Gemini really closes the loop. For one, it can double-check its own work against Google Search to flag anything that might be inaccurate. So cool. If it spits out a data table for you, one click and it's in a Google Sheet. And that whole research conversation you just had, yeah, you can turn that entire thing into a pre-written draft in Gmail. It's all about making your research seamless and, most importantly, actionable.
Okay, so now we're going to move from the general tools to something even cooler, making Gemini truly yours. This is where you actually teach it to understand your specific needs, your workflow, and you do that using 2 things. What Google calls apps, and a really clever new feature called Gems.
All right, first up, apps. You can connect Gemini directly to the Google apps you already live in every single day. And this is a really fundamental shift. Instead of having like 5 different tabs open, you can just stay in one single conversation and ask Gemini something like, hey, find that Q3 report in my drive, then check my calendar for openings tomorrow afternoon, and while you're at it, summarize that 2-hour YouTube video my boss sent me. See? It brings all your scattered information into one single intelligent hub.
And next, this is one of the newest free features, and honestly, it's brilliant. It's called Gems. So what are gems? The absolute best way to think of a gem is as a tiny specialist that you create. So instead of talking to the big, all-knowing generalist Gemini, you build a miniature expert version that's designed to do one specific, repetitive task and do it perfectly every single time.
Here's a perfect example. Let's say you make a YouTube title generator gem. You just give it a simple set of instructions. Here's your role, here's your task, and here are a couple of rules to follow. That's it. Now, every time you need a title, you just talk to this specific gem and it already knows your exact requirements. You don't have to repeat yourself over and over. It's a beautiful way to automate your repetitive, creative work. Okay, so we've established the free version it's incredibly capable. But of course, there is a paid upgrade. So let's talk about when it actually makes sense to go pro. And I want to frame this not as something you need, but as a deliberate power-up for professionals and creators.
Let's start with just one number, a single massive number, 2 million. In the crazy world of AI, what on earth could that possibly represent?
That is the size of Gemini Pro's context window. And you can just think of that as its short-term memory. So what does a 2 million token window actually mean for you? It means it can process a massive amount of information all at once. We're talking about reading a 1,500-page book like War and Peace in one go, and then you can ask it a specific question about something that happened on page 700. It's just mind-boggling.
So when you're trying to decide whether to upgrade or not, it really just boils down to these key differences. With Pro, you get unlimited, consistent access to Google's absolute best AI models, not just a few sample prompts here and there. You get that insane 2 million token memory for handling huge documents. And maybe most importantly for your day-to-day productivity, Gemini gets built directly inside your Docs, Sheets, and Gmail, so you never have to leave your workflow to use it.
And yeah, the Pro plan also unlocks some exclusive superpowers. You can generate surprisingly high-quality video clips just from a text prompt with a tool called Veo. You can schedule recurring actions like telling Gemini to automatically pull the latest stock prices for you every morning. You also get access to more advanced platforms for professional image and video creation. And finally, another really cool research tool called Notebook LM gets a huge upgrade, letting you analyze way larger collections of documents.
Phew, okay, we've covered a ton of ground, right? From the free basics all the way to the professional power-ups. So, where on earth should you actually begin? Let's make this super simple and actionable.
All right, let's make this real. I want you to try this. Here are 3 simple experiments you can do the second this is over, just to feel the power for yourself. First, just ask it a simple question about a topic you've always been curious about. Easy. Second, find any infographic online, take a picture of it, upload it, and ask Gemini to turn it into a simple bulleted list. And third, connect the Google Maps app and just ask it to plan a fun weekend trip for you. I promise, these small tasks will immediately show you what's possible.
So here's the bottom line, the key takeaway from all of this. An incredibly powerful assistant is literally already sitting inside your Google account, just waiting for its first command. So the real question now isn't what can it do, but what will you build, create, or learn with it first?